In the year 2000, a state-of-the-art Russian nuclear submarine vanished beneath the Barents Sea. All 118 crew were declared dead. But what Russia didn't say right away was that 23 of them survived, and what happened in their final hours is as tragic as it's haunting. The Kursk was no ordinary submarine. It was a monster of steel, over 500 feet long, double-hulled, and considered unsinkable by Russian officials. On August 10th, 2000, the crew of 118 men boarded for what was supposed to be a routine naval training exercise in the icy waters of the Barents Sea. Families kissed them goodbye. It was just a drill after all. But 2 days later, on August 12th, something went catastrophically wrong. At 11:28 a.m., a training torpedo armed with highly reactive hydrogen peroxide leaked inside the torpedo room. Moments later, a violent explosion tore through the sub's bow. Then, just 135 seconds later, another explosion, even larger, equivalent to 3 to 7 tons of TNT. Then, silence. Most of the men on board died instantly from the force of the blasts, but in compartment 9, deep in the stern of the submarine, 23 men were still alive. Injured, surrounded by pitch-black water. Oxygen was limited. The air was thick with smoke, battery acid, and fear. One of the survivors, 27-year-old Dmitry Kolsknikov, managed to find a pen and waterproof paper. He began to write a note, steady at first and then more rushed. All personnel from Section 6, 7, and 8 moved to the 9th. There are 23 people here. We are not getting out. They rationed their last oxygen cartridges, lit candles for light, wrote goodbye letters to their families, and waited and hoped. And for hours they knocked on the walls, on the hull, Morse code, SOS. They were alive. Back on the surface, seismic activity had already alerted neighboring countries. Something massive had gone wrong. The Russian Navy? Silent. They waited 5 hours before even starting to search, and another day before alerting the public. Meanwhile, foreign offers of help, deep-sea rescue teams from Britain and Norway, came pouring in. Russia refused. Why? Because admitting they needed help meant admitting weakness. During the Cold War hangover, secrets were everything. All the while, 23 men sat in the dark, listening as their oxygen depleted, as the water rose inch by inch, and as their knocks went unanswered. On August 21st, 9 days after the explosions, Norwegian divers were finally allowed to approach the wreck. They opened the first hatch. It was flooded. One by one, they worked their way through the compartments. When they reached compartment 9, they found them dead. The water had finally overtaken them. Kolsnikov's note was retrieved from a pocket. The final lines read, "None of us can get out. The pressure is increasing. We are not likely to survive much longer." Those words, written in total darkness, his last gift to the world, proved that they didn't die right away, that they had waited, that they had hoped. The Russian government scrambled to control the narrative. At first, they said all sailors died instantly, that no one suffered, but the note said otherwise. The Russian Navy was criticized for the delayed rescue, for rejecting help, for prioritizing secrecy over lives. President Vladimir Putin, just months into his presidency, refused to cut short his vacation during the crisis. a decision that earned him international outrage. When he finally met with grieving families, one mother screamed at him on live television, "Why didn't you save them?" Putin could only sit, silent. The Kursk was eventually raised from the sea floor. It cost millions. The truth, it cost far more. The 23 men who survived the blast should have been rescued. Their knocks were heard, but the door was never opened. Today, the story of the Kursk remains a symbol of what happens when bureaucracy and fear silence human lives. Their letters, their knocks, their courage, they deserve to be remembered, and now you know why. Subscribe for more stories that make you angry.